Hello friends, welcome to the platform of Darshanik. This is KADAM. So guys, today on this platform of Darshanik, we are going to discuss one very general topic, that is knowing Gandhi. Okay, Gandhi's journey or journey from Mohandas to the Rashtrapita. So guys, in this lecture, I'm just going to discuss with you the life of Gandhi. Okay, what he wanted to do with his life, with country, and his contribution to the India's freedom struggle and in the nation building process. And I would like to explain to you through this lecture that why Subhash Chandra Bose called him as Rashtrapita. So guys, when I teach my UPSC students in the classroom ethics paper or essay paper, because Gandhi is very hot topic for ethics paper as well as for essay topics. So Gandhian essay topics or Gandhi's idea on ethics is a core part. But if you directly start teaching Gandhi, his ideas, then they are very high level technical concepts. And so I realized, okay, only when you understand the life of Gandhi, okay, then automatically it becomes very easy to write even an essay on Gandhian quotes or answer any ethics questions regarding Gandhi, or use Gandhi in your answer writing, case study solution, etc. And so in this lecture, I am going to discuss with you this general ideas about Gandhi, about his life. And then in our app classes, we will discuss this Gandhian ethics in detail, or ideas about Gandhi that you can use in essay writing, etc. Technical part, we will discuss in our app classes in detail in the lectures to follow. And so today in this lecture, we will just discuss this overview of Gandhian theory. Now guys, first thing, okay, if when you go on studying Gandhi, when you try to understand Gandhi, then first thing you have to keep in mind is that guys, Gandhi wasn't any academic philosopher. Like Adam Smith, he was an academic philosopher to give theory of capitalism, or Karl Marx, he was an academic philosopher who gave idea of communist revolution and communism, etc. So like Jeremy Bentham, John Stuart Mill, Immanuel Kant, he was an academic philosopher. He did not write any thesis or present any PhD he did not work or did any PhD or so on. Gandhi was normal human being living in ashram, fighting for India's independence. And so whatever ideas he gave were very fluid, open-ended. And so whatever speeches he gave, whatever letters he wrote, newspaper articles he wrote, letters he wrote to other people, even to the British officials, etc. Or whatever he wrote in his biography and everything, all this data was compiled, and then later on, people classified his ideas as Gandhian economics, Gandhian polity, Gandhian socialism, etc. But when Gandhi was there, Gandhi wasn't any academic philosopher. He never taught in any university or presented idea in an academic format. And that's why if you go on learning about Gandhi technicalities, it is very hard to learn or understand Gandhi, okay, the technicalities, or in general Gandhi, if we don't study his life holistically. Or you won't understand Gandhi ka particular idea on economics, okay, without understanding his entire concept, okay, of Gandhian ethics or entire Gandhi's life. So, but once you understand Gandhi's life, these all ideas about economics, polity, administration, governance, religion, everything starts making sense at a different level. And so, before discussing technicalities with you, I wanted to discuss this general topic first. And second thing, guys, before understanding Gandhi, before studying Gandhi, okay, I would like to tell you two more things, two important thoughts of Gandhi. And once you understand these thoughts, then you will understand Gandhi at a very awesome level, in a best way. So whenever you study Gandhi, always keep these two thoughts. There was one Marathi song, okay, but that line I will convert in Hindi for you, or in English. And the line is that Manasane Manasashi Manasa Samvagane. That is, insan se insaniyat se pesh aaye. A human being should behave, ought to behave with other human being with humanity. UPSC ने पूरा इस लाइन पे एक ऐसे पूछा था, life is a long journey between human being and being humane. And so Gandhi, when you study all his ideas, guys, you will understand this crux in his argument. In all his thoughts, Gandhi only had one expectation, that every human being should treat other human being with humanity. इंसान से इंसानियत से पेश आए. So you always keep this thought in mind while studying Gandhi, and then Gandhi will make sense at a different level. And same way, there was another quote, that is, human being is not a means but an end in itself. मनुष्य साधन नहीं साध्य है. And so never treat human being as a means, but an end in itself. So what Gandhi was saying simply that religion, politics, nation, constitution, laws, administration, governance, all these, economics, science, these are the means for an end, that is human welfare. And these are the means, and human welfare is an end. You can't treat human being as a means, that suicide bomber for a religious ideology, or for use people in a revolution. Lakhs of and crores of people die in revolution to create a communist revolution or Maoist revolution, etc. Why you are creating nation for the people? Then why Gandhi was insisting on peaceful struggle? If lakhs and crores of people die, then what's the use of that independence and democracy if people are not there? Democracy and independence is for the people. People are not there for the democracy. Religion is for the people. People are not for the religion. Constitution, laws, nations, all these systems are there for the people. Okay, human beings. Humans are not for that. So you can't treat human being in an economic system as a labor, as an input for an industry to get industrial output. No. We want to run industry, we want to create industrial output, we need a mass production, we need industrial revolution for an end, that is human welfare. So never treat human being as a means but an end in itself. Manushya sadhan nahi sadhya hai. So remember this line, and with these two lines in mind, when you study Gandhi, okay, it will make a sense to you at all together at different level. And then you will realize all these WhatsApp graduates ke thoughts or social media pe, the people who are advocating any wrong thoughts about Gandhi, how badly they are ill-informed and how wrong they are. So going ahead with our discussion. So guys, first I will discuss Gandhi with some criticisms. Generally, most of the criticism that you come across on WhatsApp. So we'll try to understand Gandhi through the criticism first. And one such a criticism is that did we get independence because of Gandhi? We got independence because of Rain Mutiny, we got independence because of INA and so on. And we did not get independence because of Gandhi. So guys, doesn't matter whether we got independence because of Gandhi or not, because Gandhi's contribution to India was much more than independence. There were many countries like Kenya, Somalia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Nepal, Myanmar, half of the Middle East or all entire Middle East, Africa, all those countries also got independence, who even did not fight for independence through revolution or peaceful way. Even those countries got the independence. British or other nations handed them the power and they got the independence. But the point is, guys, what Gandhi knew, it's not independence that matters. What he was concerned more was with the nation building, that what after independence, what kind of India that will create. And that's why for Gandhi, guys, this nation building was important process. Okay, Gandhi was not as much interested in independence as much he was interested in nation building. And that's why Gandhi said, this is not the struggle of India's independence. This is the nation in the making. And what we create now is going to create tomorrow's nation. And so one day, one student in one of my offline class asked me this same question, that did we get independence because of Gandhi? And one student also asked that can we call Ambedkar freedom fighter, because he never fought for political independence. He clearly maintained position that social reform is his priority and he always focused on social reforms and so never fought for independence. So can we call Ambedkar freedom fighter? So I told him, see kid, these people, Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, Ambedkar, Bose, Bhagat Singh, etc. For them, this freedom fighter term is a very petty term. These people, guys, were the nation builders. Okay, the way they created this constitution, the democracy. When I look at the Pakistan, okay, same nation with two religious, same religion, people, but with two different languages, Urdu speaking Muslim and Bengali speaking Muslim, could not stay together for 20 years despite having same religion. Okay, but India, with so many caste, class, sex, religion, identity, geographical diversity, linguistic diversity, India remained united. And so that was the major thing, guys, these people's contribution to the nation building. And all these people agreed to the same thought, that independence is not replacing British with the Indian people, white with the blacks. Because Gandhi clearly said, if you think this is the independence, then that's not. Because if you think replacing British with Indian is all the solution for all the problems, that's not going to be there. Because if you think so, this is the independence, then all you think or want is replace British tiger with Bengal tiger. And it is a tiger, it will exploit the people. And that's why independence is not our goal. We need to create a constitutional, legal, political structure, a system, okay, which will enhance our freedom, where there will be self-governance, where every person will have socio-economic, political, legal mobility to live a life the way he wants. He will have full freedom, irrespective of caste, class, sex, religion. Everyone will be equal, everyone's laws will be protected equally, and that kind of systems that they wanted to create, and that's what we had in India. The foundation that they laid for our democracy, our constitution. Okay, today we survive as a nation, not only survived, okay, but growing and prospering. And same was the thought of Bhagat Singh. What Bhagat Singh was saying, कि गोरा साहब जाके काला साहब आएगा, and that's independence. Then that's not the case. Okay, अगर गोरा साहब जाके again same caste system, higher caste, upper caste, elite caste, oppressing the poor people, then that's not the independence. गोरा साहब जाके काला साहब comes to rule. So independence for him was a socialism. And so all these people, guys, had an idea what kind of alternative we need to create. They wasn't only focused on independence. And same way was Ambedkar's idea. He was very much correct when he said political independence is not going to change condition of untouchable people. We replace British with Indian people and there will be social reform, caste reform is a stupidity. Because thousands of years, there wasn't Britishers who oppressed the untouchables. Thousands of years, that was Indian males who burned in sati practice females alive. So thousands of years, there wasn't Britishers who were exploiting Indian people. And so tomorrow Britishers go and Indian comes and there will be equality and everything. There will be equality and no oppression and there won't be untouchability or no casteism is a very idealistic even dream. And so for Ambedkar, social emancipation, social reform was also important or was most important goal. And so, okay, for these people, guys, okay, I told you, freedom fighter is very petty term. Okay, these people were the nation builders. But coming back to the point, did we get independence because of Gandhi or not? Okay, then there is no doubt, guys, that we got independence because of Gandhi. Why? So guys, history there are no opinions, no narratives. History runs on facts. And let me give you some facts. So India got independence because of Rin Mutiny. So Rin Mutiny happened in 1946. Azad Hind Sena came to India in March 1944. An unfortunate history, cold fact of history, but a fact that INA got defeated. At Battle of Kohima, INA got defeated. Most of the INA soldiers were taken prisoners and Subhash Chandra Bose also got killed later on. And this was in March 1944. But 3 years before that, in 1941, one mission or commission came to India, that is Lord Cripps mission or Cripps commission. Now guys, this Cripps mission, when it came to India, okay, before that, we have the Japanese who attacked in World War II, China, they occupied large part of Southeast Asia, and now they were reaching the Myanmar. And so America, whose Pearl Harbor has been also destroyed by the British, their entire Pacific fleet was destroyed. So this America and China, okay, were convincing British to ensure full-fledged participation of India in World War II. And so they were telling to solve this constitutional problem of India, and to solve this problem, Cripps mission came to India. And what the Cripps mission was saying? That is constitution making body entirely made up of Indians was their proposal. That we will create a constitution making body, all Indian people will be there, they will make India's constitution and we will hand over to that body, okay, this constitution, as per that constitution, we will carry out election and whatever government gets elected, we will hand over our government to that body and that body, okay, will run India and will leave India. But Gandhi objected to the provision. This entire handover of power will happen after the World War II. To which Gandhi called it post-dated check on crashing bank. You are giving us a check of a future date on a crashing bank. What if Britain lost the World War II, Japanese or Hitler forces occupied India? Why they will agree to the promises given by the Britishers? What they said, what will happen after World War II? Obviously, German, Japanese won't be interested in that. And that's why Gandhi wanted independence right away. Gandhi said we will fight as an independent government, not as a colony. So give us an interim government right now. And that's why Gandhi rejected Cripps mission. But the point was, in 1941 itself, okay, British were considering giving India independence, okay, they were talking about constitution making body entirely made up of Indians. Even Subhash Chandra Bose hasn't left India. INA wasn't even formed. Okay, Ring Mutiny was nowhere in picture. British were already, okay, deliberating on the thought of India's independence. And this was 1941 Cripps mission. Now you revise the clock, okay, 15 years in the history. Then 1927, okay, there was another mission that came to India, that is Simon, all white commission. And this Simon May, guys, okay, as we know, it was all white commission. They said no black people can be there in constitution making body or this reform committee. May. That Simon was supposed to suggest reforms, constitutional reforms for India. And they said it will be made up of all whites, not a single black person. And so we protested against all white commission. And even Congress and other political party appointed another commission under Motilal Nehru to submit the report. And so in 1927, British attitude was constitution making body entirely made up of Britisher. Say like in 1941, constitution making body entirely made up of Indians. Why in 15 years so much of attitude change from this end to that end? And that because in between these two events, there was this person Gandhi and his CDM, civil disobedience movement, and NCM they are already seen. And this Sabarmati to Dandi, when Gandhi went, okay, and with this Sabarmati to Dandi march, and when Dandi he broke salt law, he launched CDM, and that went ahead. And next 1 or 2 years, okay, there was full-fledged CDM going on in India. Crores and crores of Indian people were on the streets protesting for India's independence. British had realized, okay, controlling India is no more the option, and gradually we will have to hand over this power. And by Second World War when started, okay, they were ready to hand over the power by 1941 itself. And so guys, and in between that, there was also another event, that is Government of India Act 1935. And so I told you Simon submitted his report, Motilal Nehru submitted his report, Ambedkar also submitted his opinions, Jinnah also submitted his own opinions. And on those opinions, there were first roundtable conference, second roundtable conference, third roundtable conference. And after all the deliberation roundtable conferences, white paper was introduced in British Parliament. And on those white paper, eventually it turned after parliamentary proceedings into Government of India Act 1935. Now, what was this Government of India Act 1935? Okay, the most important provisions, the first most important provision of Government of India Act 1935 was provincial autonomy. Now, what is this provincial autonomy means? You will study in polity paper or history in detail. But just to tell you guys, okay, before 1935, there were 11 state governments in India. There were elections were also happening, and there were chief ministers also. But all these chief ministers were totally impotent. They had no power as such, because all the power was controlled by governor, and governor wasn't answerable to chief minister or his cabinet. Governor was answerable to the Governor General at Delhi, and Governor General of India was answerable to Secretary of State in British Parliament. And that's why we wasn't an independent nation in short. But now in this structure, okay, they made major change in 1935, and they gave provincial autonomy, means all governors of states now will be answerable to the chief minister and his cabinet. The way system we have today, Maharashtra ka governor is not answerable to President of India. He is answerable to the chief minister and his cabinet. Indirectly, okay, they were giving all the state governments independence. Even in Government of India Act 1935, they created 3 lists that we still have today in our constitution: central list, concurrent list, and state list. And in subjects regarding state list, law and order, education, healthcare, etc., they made India totally independent, independent at provincial level. And so 1935 most important provision, provincial autonomy, it simply means India was 50% independence. At a state level, India was independent in 35 itself. And then second most important provision of 35 Act was diarchy was introduced at the center. Means what? Whatever the ministries, they were there at the center level, at Prime Minister and his cabinet. Out of those ministries, guys, large number of ministries were handed over to Indian ministers, and British officers were actually controlling very few ministries. Important one like defense, communication, then finance, foreign affairs, ecclesiastical affairs, these kind of important subjects. While large number of subjects, even at central level, they were handed or transferred to the Indian ministers. The point is, even at central level, half independence we have got in 35 itself, and states were to already having provincial autonomy. The point is, India ka 70-80% independence we had in 1935 itself. 1947 was mere handover of the power. Okay, so thinking that India got independence in 15 August 1947, okay, that was very naive interpretation of history. It was a gradual process that started from 1892 ke Act se hi, okay, eventually completed in 1947. But the major transport chunk that happened was actually happened in Government of India Act 1935, and the reason of 1935 Act was, I told you, no other than Gandhi and his civil disobedience movement. And so guys, in history, there are facts, okay, not opinion, not narratives. So we got independence because of Gandhi or not, but as I told you, Gandhi wasn't interested as much as in independence, but he was much more interested in a nation building. So what I mean by nation building, just to give you one example in the beginning itself to introduce that when India got independence, okay, what kind of state governments that we should have? Nehru thought in 1947 that we already had a partition of India on religious ground. Now if we create more India we organize India and we create states, state governments on the base of language. Like for Tamil speaking people, Tamil Nadu, Malayalam speaking Kerala, Maharashtrian speaking Marathi, for Telugu speaking Andhra, Bengali speaking Bengal, Mizo speaking people Mizoram, etc. Assamese people speaking people Assam. It will create lot of problem, divisions. And so what Nehru thought, that there shouldn't be linguistic organization of states. There shouldn't be linguistic determination of state governments. But later on, a lot of protests happened and Nehru agreed to linguistic reorganization. But guys, before coming to India, in 1915, when Gandhi arrived in India, even before coming to India, in 1909, when he was in South Africa, Gandhi was writing a book, Hind Swaraj, and in that book, Gandhi was already considering that when tomorrow India will get independence, what kind of legal, political, constitutional, economic, democratic structures we will create. And in Hind Swaraj, Gandhi has already written that when India will get independence, we will create, okay, state governments in India as per language. Gandhi was in support of linguistic determination, and Gandhi actually maintained the position that national integration won't be possible unless regional aspirations are not met. If you don't satisfy the regional aspirations of the people, we can't force nationalism on them. If we divide Marathi people's Marathi land into 10 parts and force on them that be patriotic, not going to happen. We need to satisfy their regional demands. These people will be more patriotic. So give Bengali speaking people Bengal, they will be more nationalistic, okay, towards India. And that's why Gandhi was supporting linguistic determination. But the point was, even before coming to India, Gandhi had no idea when he will go to India, how many people will follow him, whether he will be able to create mass movement. If he creates mass movement, British whether he will listen or not, what changes will happen, when India will get independence or not. Okay, but even before coming to that, Gandhi was thinking so much about what kind of India we will have after independence. And that's why for Gandhi, this wasn't freedom struggle, this was a nation in the making. Gandhi knew whether we will get independence or not, whether he was alive, then he will get independence or not, or whenever we will get independence. That is not in our control. All we have in our control is our actions with which we approach the independence. And that's why Gandhi was deontologist thinker. He focused more on duties. So in our app classes, when we discuss, then I will discuss with you the deontology ethics, in which there is Immanuel Kant, one of the very influential thinker under deontological thinking, duty ethics. Then Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna has already gave idea of duty ethics, Nishkam Karma, Anasakta Karma, Sakarma, and then Gandhi and his means end morality. That means are in our control, and we should be focusing on right means to create a nice end or a good end. And so for Gandhi, okay, this nation building was an important task. Now, how he created the nation, what I meant by nation building process, that I will discuss with you as we go ahead in this class. Then guys, one more question or criticism you must have heard about Gandhi, or argument that you will come across about Gandhi, is that why non-violence, why not violence? Okay, we are so many Indians, even if we have spit on the British, they would have got swept away. Since we were 33 crore Indians, then why we did not do the revolution? We could have got independence because of revolution. Why Gandhi instituted non-violence and this charkha and everything, guys? So fine, okay, about why non-violence. Gandhi was calling about non-violence. Why other people did not do the violence, did not do the revolution? And guys, many people in India had used violence. And so thinking that Indian people did not use violence in this revolution is a very naive or stupid understanding of history. Okay, large number of Indian people used violence. From Battle of Plassey in 1757 to 1857 ka revolt, okay, lot of princely states fought against British. There were Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, 3 Anglo-Maratha War, 4 Anglo-Mysore Wars, okay, Sikh battles, Ahom revolt, Santhal uprising, okay, Kuka revolt, Ramoshi uprising. There were hell lot of uprisings and battles against the British, 2 Anglo-Sikh wars and so on. But unfortunate part of history again, cold part of history, that in all these battles, okay, British, okay, defeated us thoroughly, fair and square, okay, and British won and suppressed each and every revolution, rebellion, or etc. And 1857 was ultimate culmination of that. Even that we lost. So Indian people did not use violence. This is very naive understanding of history. And just to put things in perspective, okay, let me tell you that during 1802, around that time period, there was governor in India, okay, Arthur Wellesley, and his brother Richard Wellesley. So I guess Richard was governor and Arthur was commander of military, British military in India. Now this Arthur Wellesley, guys, Duke of Wellington, he, okay, defeated Tipu Sultan in 4th Anglo-Mysore War, thoroughly finished Mysore state, finished Tipu Sultan. This same Arthur Wellesley fought against Marathas in 2nd Anglo-Maratha War, and he defeated Marathas at Battle of Asai, which was one important part of that battle during 2nd Anglo-Maratha War. And after that, this Arthur Wellesley was quickly recalled to London to lead a forces of a British or Northern European kings led by the British Kingdom against the most invincible military general, that is Napoleon Bonaparte. And this Napoleon, guys, okay, and Arthur Wellesley's forces met in 1815 at the Battle of Waterloo, and this Arthur Wellesley even defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo, the most invincible military general. And this Arthur Wellesley, in his biography, he has written that defeating Scindias at Asai was much tougher than defeating Napoleon at Waterloo. Such a tough fight Marathas gave, okay, under leadership of Scindias during 2nd Anglo-Maratha War. And so point is that we did not fight this battle against the British, or we did not use violence, is very naive understanding of history. 100 years from 1757 to 1857, we have used hell lot of violence. Ultimate end of all those violence was the defeat. And the reason for that defeat, guys, were two. British were technologically, their military was extremely advanced. They had advanced weaponry. They have advanced technology like telegraph, railways for troop mobilization, etc. And secondly, they had 24/7 year-long fighting and professionally trained professional army. Most of Indian kings used to have militias who were half-time farmers and half-time warriors. British maintained full-time standing professional army. And with these two, the technology and professional army, it was impossible to defeat them. All the rebellions, revolutions, wars, they defeated Indians thoroughly. And after 1857, guys, then there wasn't, okay, again any attempt by any princely state to defeat the British. Whatever wars they were happening, 1857 was culmination of that. And when 1857 revolt got suppressed, after that, okay, there wasn't even single bullet got fired against the British next 50-60 years. Okay, only when Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru and other revolutionaries started these revolutionary activities, some Britishers got killed in India. But next 40-50 years, there wasn't even single Britisher got murdered. And Gandhi came to India in 1915. By that time, guys, okay, British have advanced military. They had bomber tanks, they have machine guns, they have aeroplane bombers, military tanks, Every way their military was extremely modernized, and they have very huge standing army now in India, professional army, and even very well trained, organized this military was. And British by that time, guys, even haven't had stick and any guns or swords to fight. Now you check Gandhi-Irvine Pact, 1931 ka. Check the last provision of Gandhi-Irvine Pact. And what was the last provision of Gandhi-Irvine Pact in 1931? That Indian people should be allowed to keep weapons for their self-protection. Indian people wasn't even allowed to keep weapons for the self-protection by Britishers. All weapons were confiscated after 1857. Carrying a weapon at home was a criminal offense. And Gandhi was requesting Irvine that let Indian people keep weapons for self-protection. Indian people haven't even had swords at home. So how are we planning or intending to plan or fight Britisher using with their military tanks and machine guns and bomber planes? Are we planning to throw stick and stones at them? And so for Gandhi, guys, non-violence, as much as an idealism, it was pragmatic reality. He knew it will not work. If we do violence, they will do violence. Everything will be finished. But we do non-violence, okay, at max, okay, they will put us in jail. And so, okay, once we flood their jails, and their jail capacity is limited. If more people are ready to go to jail, even the instrument of this jail as operation will get nullified. And that's why, okay, this Gandhi, okay, why for him this non-violence? Because a lot of our ancestors had used non-violence, no one were. Even Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, Rajguru, they were great revolutionaries, extremely patriotic, even ready to sacrifice their life to death. But again, guys, okay, all these revolutionary movements had one limitation: their finance and the weaponry. Okay, lakhs of Bhagat Singh we would have had lakhs of Bhagat Singh. Issue was lakhs of weapons and lakhs of rupees. And because of this limitation, even revolutionary activity could not succeed. Even INA had a lot of military soldiers' weaponry, but even INA got defeated in 44. And that's why for Gandhi, he knew that violence is not a pragmatic option, and even idealism-wise, he was against violence. And so he knew if we do violence, British will do violence, everything will be dead end. But if you do non-violence, all British could do is put us in a jail. And that's what one of the greatest contribution of Gandhi was, removing this fear of jail from Indian people's mind. Now, why removing this fear of jail? Because Gandhi knew how this instrument of operation that can get, that jails that British have created, the instrument of operation, the fear that they have created in Indian people's mind, and removing that was very important contribution of the Gandhi. Let me explain why, guys. See, British were extremely psychological in their orientation while it comes to governing India. And this fear of jail, they have created this psychological terror in Indian people's mind. This Kala Pani jail, Kala Pani. Lifetime ke liye you will be put in Kala Pani ka jail mein. And this terror, guys, as long as this terror is there, okay, then non-violence, Gandhi knew, will not work. And see, and let me give you this terror ka example. Have you ever wondered that what happened to all these soldiers who were arrested in all those revolutions or wars, rebellions, etc.? What happened to 1857 revolutionaries who were arrested? Now, most of their leaders were murdered. Most of their leaders were arrested. They were killed. But what about the common people? Okay, those were soldiers who were arrested. Now, guys, generally it was said in India that we have been taught the history of Muslims. But that's not actually the problem with Indian history. Problem with Indian history are other two. The first problem with Indian history is not we have been taught history of Muslims. The problem is we have been taught history of Delhi. Regional histories were never taught. And so large part of that Delhi was in medieval time period. For a large time it was ruled by the Muslims. And so history of Delhi was history of India. So later Mughals wasn't even effective outside Delhi. But their history is there. Rafi-ud-Jarat, Rafi-ud-Dawla, Farrukh-Siyar, etc. and Nadir Shah's invasion. While such important things were happening in South, Portuguese have arrived, Shivaji Maharaj was creating his empire, no one knew. Do you know which dynasty in India ruled for the longest time period in continuum? and that was Ahom dynasty in Assam. More than 600-700 years, they ruled without any break. But nowhere in Indian history we have been taught about the Ahoms, or they and during Ahom's revolution, not Ahom revolution, when Ahoms were fighting or ruling, Mughals tried to encroach on their territory, and that time there was very legendary warrior Lasit Borfukan. He fought Ahoms as a Ahoms commander-in-chief against the Mughals and repelled them out of the Brahmaputra valley. Now no one knows about him. NDA in Pune, when they select the candidates through NDA exam, when they are trained, okay, and they're passing out parade May, the best NDA cadet gets the award by the name of Lasit Borfukan, but rest of the India has no idea who this person was. This is the major first problem with Indian history. We have been only taught, okay, Delhi ka history, not the regional history. In Delhi's history is a India ka history, which I told you then ended up becoming Islamic history. And second problem with Indian history, guys, in our history, we have never, okay, told about the regional, about the local or common people's history, what they used to eat, what they used to wear, what was their daily life, how harsh it was, what was the inflation, unemployment, all these facts. Now, before French Revolution, guys, they have so much of proper record. What was the food inflation, what was the price rates, what was the unemployment statistics, what soldiers used to get in salary, everything was well documented. India mein common people's history was never mentioned. It was only battle ka history, which king defeated whom, or their chronology. Now after Ayodhya ka Pran Pratishthan, okay, there was one Jaipur royal family ka person. He said that he is the direct descendant of Rama, and he has provided entire chronology of lot of names, 300-400 ke upar, fathers, that chronological names, and he produced that as a evidence. So that's what chronological history of kings, etc. only we have been was recorded. Common man's history was never recorded. And so let me tell you that one common or this common man's history ka part, that what happened to 1857 revolutionaries. So guys, all this 1757 to 1857, whatever soldiers were arrested, their leaders were got murdered in the battle, some were killed later on, like Tatya Tope, Mangal Pandey, they were hanged, they got martyred. But common soldiers, guys, most of them were arrested, were taken to Kolkata or taken to Chennai. From there, they were loaded on the boat and were taken to the Andaman Nicobar. Then you will say cellular jail, Kala Pani. No, cellular jail wasn't there. Kala Pani wasn't there. These all soldiers, guys, were taken to the Andaman Nicobar. They were taken to Andaman, and there they were released. And they were given swords, this axes and other tools. And they were asked to clear Andaman ka that rainforest, a very thick, dense, hardwood wala rainforest. And most of our soldiers, guys, died working in those humid conditions. Many died because of bite of the snake bites or other poisonous insects and animals ke bite ki wajah se. Many were got killed by the animal in the animal attacks, etc. And those who survived, okay, British used to tie them to the trees at night, and British used to go and stay in the ocean on a boat. And many tribals who were living there locally, they used to come and kill our soldiers at night when they were tied to the trees. They used to murder them. And so in the morning, British used to come, those who were alive, okay, again they were given access to clear the forest. And after every rebellion and every war, okay, this supply of soldier kept on happening. And these our soldiers, guys, okay, constructed Port Blair for the British, later on constructed cellular jail and this Kala Pani ka jail. And most of later on, okay, these revolutionaries and freedom fighters were taken there. Now Andaman ka water, guys, is very beautiful. Then why British were calling it Kala Pani? Not a single of our ancestor knew where is Andaman Nicobar. And so they, by using this term Kala Pani, British were psychologically wanted to create this terror in Indian people's mind that if you raise voice against us again, like in 1857 revolt you did, we'll take you to such a place from where you will never come back for a lifetime. And that place is something very terrorsome, where water is dark, Kala Pani and so on. Now if they wanted to torture Indian soldiers, they could have taken them to the Rajasthan. And in Marusthali, they could have created the jail, extreme winter, extreme heat. But this, instead of that, guys, okay, this Andaman was a very intentional choice. They wanted to create this terror ka image, and some relative can at least come to meet you in Rajasthan. But in Andaman Nicobar, there is no scope. Only you will go there and your dead body even will not be brought back. Okay, you will be buried somewhere and your life will end there. And this fear that they created in Indian people's mind, it actually worked. And I told you, after 1857, next 50, 60 years, not a single bullet got fired against British officials. Forget about any revolution or revolt like condition like revolt of 1857. And secondly, guys, let me give you an example from Maharashtra about common people's history. Now, after Third Anglo-Maratha War in 1818, British had made law in Maharashtra that going on a fort for trekking was even a criminal offense. You can't even go on forts, because they thought if these people go back again on those forts, they see Shivaji Maharaj's forts and etc., and their nationalism will grow again and they will break out in war. And so even going on a fort was made a criminal offense. Okay, no one went to Raigad next 40, 50 years. Shivaji Maharaj Samadhi was totally got covered in the dense forest, which later on Mahatma Phule went to Raigad and he searched for Shivaji Maharaj Samadhi and he offered flowers and did a puja there. And so this Shivaji Maharaj ka jo festival hai, okay, was started by Mahatma Phule. But those historians who sit at Delhi and write, okay, the Shivaji festival was started by Tilak. That's what the problem with Indian history. That regional history, they don't teach, or whatever they teach is very in a faulty way. And secondly, guys, okay, when not only this going on fort was a criminal offense, you will see Rajasthan or other regions, a lot of forts are there. But if you go on any fort in Maharashtra, you will hardly find any palace on those forts. What happened to palaces of Shivaji Maharaj? That or those Kiledars used to stay. What happened to all those palaces? So guys, when Third Anglo-Maratha War ke baad, when Marathas got defeated, British hired people on a contract and destroyed all those palaces brick by brick, stone by stone, because they didn't want to leave a single memory, okay, of Indian people in minds of Maharashtrian people, okay, Maratha people, that about of Shivaji's empire, because they think if they go to the fort, again their nationalism will grow and they will break out in a violence. And so much British were working psychologically, oppressing Indian people. Even I told you, Lytton made a law, Arms Act, where Indian people were not even allowed to keep weapons for their self-protection. You can't keep even swords, etc. at your home. And so I told you, in such a India, Gandhi came, okay, where they have created this terror of the jails. And that's why one of the greatest contribution of India, of Gandhi to India, was removing this fear of jail from people's mind. And Gandhi knew, once we remove this fear of jail, then British ka instrument of operation, this jail ka terror, will be ineffective. And let me give you an example of that why it was necessary to remove this fear of jail, then how Satyagraha will work. So in Maharashtra, CA protest was going on, and before that, Marathas, okay, were asking for reservation. Now Marathas did not get reservation because of they were not socially backward, because they were ruling class, elite class, and economic backwardness wasn't the criteria during Mandal Commission report. Same was the condition of Muslims. Muslims did not get reservation because mostly, okay, they was also ruling classes. And so when Maratha were asking for reservation ka demand, lot of Muslim communities were supporting their demand, giving them free food, water, or cleaning the places. So when CA was brought by the government, many Maratha community groups decided that they will, it's a payback time, they will support Muslims against this CAA protest. And one protest was called in Pune, and suddenly a lot of people came on a weekend, Saturday pay, to protest, and they might not have taken permission or so on. And so police officers came, arrested them, okay, and took them, and that was a holiday, so magistrate wasn't available. So there were 800,000 plus people protesting. Police arrested them. Now where you will take them? What you will do with these protesters? You can't send them to jail because they are not yet criminal. Magistrate will decide that. And so Pune police has to book, okay, marriage hall. Then you can't keep them hungry. They had to book the caterer and give them lunch of the afternoon, evening ka food, and next day ka breakfast, lunch, dinner. And police had to pay this 3-4 lakh ka bill. On Monday, okay, on Sunday they called the magistrate. And what magistrate will do? Okay, you can't send them to the jail. Already there is no place for hardened criminals in Yeroda. You can't send these political prisoners there. And all these people were granted bail, okay, without any conditions. And British had to pay police of Pune had to pay 2-3 lakhs out of their own pocket, okay, to feed them or to book that marriage hall or to feed these protesters. And that's what Gandhi knew. How much is the jail capacity today in India? 20-30 lakhs at max, central, state, all district jails all together. In that time, during British guys, this entire jail capacity, Kala Pani, Silver Jail, Sileke, all jails in India won't be more than 5-10 lakhs. Gandhi knew even 1 or 2 crore people are ready to go to jail. Their instrument of operation will be ineffective. But for that to happen, first thing he knew he need to do is remove this fear of jail from the people's mind. And without removing fear of jail, guys, Gandhi knew it won't be possible, okay, to fight the Britishers. And see why this is very hard thing, guys. If I ask you today, is there any in your family, is there any woman, okay, who went to jail or a police station? They will say, what are you asking, sir? How can any woman from our family can go to jail? Oh, she can go to a jail for a political protest. Or about police station. Okay, she can go to a police station to do the passport verification, to report a missing SIM card. So guys, today in 21st century India, when we say there is a lot of feminism, women empowerment, women wearing jeans, t-shirts, short skirt, etc. Okay, they go to pub, disco and all. But still in 21st century, women will not go to police station alone. They will go with some male partner or even 2-3 girls together they will go. This is the aura of a police station today in 21st century. There is a stigma associated with women going to a police station. We are talking about the India, okay, 100 years back. How much conservative our great-grandmother would be then. They won't be stepping even outside their homes. But even for those women's, conservative women's, okay, for those great-grandmothers of ours, Gandhi made going to jail from a taboo or stigma into a moment of national pride. And so guys, okay, it is very easy to judge Gandhi, but what he did, okay, getting those things done, okay, what he done was a miracle for Indian national movement. Thousands and thousands and crores of Indian women, okay, were ready to go to jail, and to that level he inspired them and made going to jail from taboo to the moment of national pride. And understand that Gandhika movement are the only movements in the world where there was such a huge participation of females, because communist movements, they were very bloody. French Revolution was very bloody. Female can't participate to that level. But in civil disobedience movement, there were more females than the males. 60% were females in the civil disobedience movement. Only 40% were the males. Okay. And so this removing fear of jail was very important, which Gandhi did, and automatically then British instrument of this jail was became totally ineffective. And in NCMA, when Gandhi launched his first mass movement, it was so successful, crores of people were protesting on the street, that British had to call military to take over railways and telegraph. Otherwise, even railway communication would have been totally collapsed. Telegraph communication would have collapsed. And they had to call military to control or to keep these systems operating. And so such a successful movement Gandhi could create in NCM. And so NCM was no doubt India's first mass movement. Swadeshi that happened in 1905 was nowhere mass movement. Okay, NC was no doubt India's first mass movement. Crores of people were protesting across India, and Gandhi was the first mass leader. Now, why Gandhi could create a mass movement? While previously, a lot of leaders were there from 1885 when Indian National Congress got formed, and 1915 when Gandhi came to India in those 30 years span. But why no one could create such a mass movement? Okay, that we will discuss. The next point that I want to discuss with you is that why Gandhi could create mass movement, and why before Gandhi there wasn't any mass leader who could launch such a big mass movement against the Britishers. And so major reason, or one of the important reason behind this was Gandhi's use of all symbols and narratives was extremely well thought. But to understand this point, to explain you this point, okay, let me first describe what was happening in India 100 years before Gandhi came to India in 1915. So when British came to India, guys, British introduced modern education, and they were also causing socio-political legal reforms, or introducing new system of education, politics, new laws, etc. And so that time there were three ideological trends that were there in India that you will study in your modern history part. That is reformist, revivalist, and the radicals. So reformist, these were the people who, after getting exposed to the British education, new ideas regarding economy, etc., realized that India is extremely backward. Indian culture, Indian religion, Indian politics, Indian economic ideas, Indian educational system, Indian technology, India ka understanding of medical sciences, physics, chemistry, bio, everything is extremely backward. Okay, British by that time period had underwent scientific revolution. The process that started with European Renaissance, scientific revolution, had culminated into industrial revolution. They were having European enlightenment was going on. Okay, there were Adam Smith, Jeremy Bentham, John Stuart Mill, Karl Marx, all these people giving new ideas regarding politics, nation, constitution. There were ideas regarding fundamental right like John Locke theory of fundamental rights, etc. New idea of freedom, liberty, equality were coming. So completely new ideas regarding constitution, polity, etc. were coming. Darwin was also giving new ideas regarding human evolution, biology, etc. So on every aspect, British were extremely advanced. And compared to that, Indian education, technology, understanding of medical sciences, all this was extremely backward. And so there was a group of people in India who wanted to learn these thoughts from the Britisher and get themselves modernized. And these people, okay, we call them as the reformist. So Rajaram Mohan Rai, Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule, okay, all this come under reformism, who wanted to reform India ka society, India ka get rid of caste system, okay, give women education, get rid of untouchability, allow widow remarriage, okay, women education, etc. The reforms that they wanted to do. And that's what Rajaram Mohan Rai got sati practice abolished. Same way, there were reformists in Islam. That is Aligarh school of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, who also believed that Islamic culture in India, religion, Islamic way of life, everything is extremely backward, and they need, okay, need to get themselves modernized. Okay, Muslims should get part of, be a part of British education, be a part of, or should be a part of Western education. They should join the British bureaucracy, etc. Against this, there was another thought in India that was revivalist, and they said when get exposed to the British, they got threatened, and these people said that British are destroying India's politics, India's culture, India's religion, India's society, India's economic setup and everything. They are causing social reforms and all. And so we need to get rid of the British and go back, okay, to the old pristine cultures, go back to Vedas. Vedas are infallible. Same thought was there in Islam also, Deobandi school, who said that we need to go to old pristine Quranic culture. And India, as long as ruled by Britishers, okay, is a haram now. We shouldn't even be offering namaz here. And only when we remove Britisher and Islamic head is here, we should offering the prayers. So in Hinduism and Islam, both there were revivalist trend who wanted, okay, to get rid of British and go back to the old systems. And now these moderates, this reformist and revivalist, okay, their political byproduct were the moderates and extremists respectively. So when Indian National Congress got formed in 1885, the first people who formed Indian National Congress, they were the ideological byproduct of reformist. And what we call this moderate people, Mawalwad, their idea was to go, okay, back to the, to learn from the Britisher and modernize themselves. So they never wanted to launch mass movement against British, get rid of British. They wanted British in India. Only thing was they shouldn't govern in despotic manner. They wanted Britisher to govern in a benevolent manner. And so their method of struggle was prayer, petition, protest, not the mass movement against the British. So prayer, petition, protest. And how to do this prayer, petition, protest, PPP method of struggle that they give. And with this PPP method, guys, next 20-25 years, they could hardly, okay, get any reform done from the British side. British only gave them some right to ask questions on the budget, pass resolution on the budget, very petty reforms that happen. And so another group in Congress got extremely agitated with that slow reform. And if we are doing PPP, it would have taken 100 years for us and we might still be fighting the Britishers. And so group that got agitated wanted substantially something more. And if we want to get more reforms done or remove the Britisher or get political independence, then they thought we need to create a mass movement. And this byproduct of revivalist into Indian politics was extremist Jahalwad, Lal Bal Pal. And all these people wanted to cause mass movement against the British. But to create a mass movement, guys, then they thought they need to unite people on the basis of religion, because religion, okay, the idea of a religion that was being advocated, that religion was under threat, that idea was being advocated, Hindu khatre mein. And so we need to unite people on a name of religion. That's why Tilak started this Ganpati festival. So people will be united on a name of religion. And so they wanted to launch mass movement. And this Swadeshi was reflection of that mass movement. When Bengal partition happened, these people called for Swadeshi and to create mass movement. But guys, even extremists couldn't be successful, because they would have been successful had literally Hindu khatre mein or Islam khatre mein. And that's why, guys, this Swadeshi movement that this extremists launched, moderate extremists both were there, but extremists were dominating. Okay, they could not, okay, create the mass movement. Swadeshi wasn't even outside Maharashtra or Kolkata, Bengal. And in Maharashtra, Bengal also, it wasn't in Maharashtra or Bengal entirely. It was only restricted to Pune, Mumbai and Kolkata cities. And even in those cities, not all masses were involved. Only the movement got spread from higher middle class to the lower middle class. Okay, even peasant, laborer, all these people was nowhere the part of Indian, this Swadeshi movement. And the reason was, guys, then literally had Hindu khatre mein or Islam khatre mein, they would have created the mass movement. But that wasn't the major issue. Major issue was something different that Gandhi went to address, that I will discuss later. But the major issue, guys, what the problem they created was, in Indian freedom movement, they brought religion into the politics. And so as Hindus were started to create this, then they brought these religious symbols like Bharat Mata, okay, or celebrating festivals, Ganpati festival like that. Automatically, then Britisher played systematically, and they started to pamper the Muslims. That see, this is now Hindu India is getting created. What about you? And automatically, 1905 around, All India Muslim League got created. In 1909, okay, in Morley-Minto reform, Muslims were given separate electorate. Now, don't blame British for doing Hindu-Muslim divide, because you brought religion into politics, gave them a chance to do divide and rule. And British was doing that from the day they arrived in India in 1957. From the Battle of Plassey, they were doing the divide and rule. Okay, when Siraj-ud-Dowla, okay, went to Battle of Plassey, Mir Zafar, they took on his side, or Mir Qasim, okay, Mir Zafar, I guess. They bribed him, and they caused this divide and rule strategy. So they were here to do the divide and rule. But this extremist ended up giving them one more opportunity by bringing religion into politics. And then now, guys, why Gandhi became successful, that I will come to next. But before that, there was third trend also, the radicals, the revolutionaries. And these revolutionaries, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev Rajguru, Madan Lal Dhingra, many revolutionaries were there, fighting for India's independence, killing Britishers. And so, this Bhagat Singh, guys, Sukhdev Rajguru, now they did a big sacrifice, and seeing their sacrifices, okay, it would have inspired lakhs of youths to do sacrifice like Bhagat Singh, fight for India's independence till death. Issue wasn't lakhs of Bhagat Singh. Issue was lakhs of rupees and lakhs of weapons. And even to kill one soldier, they had to smuggle one pistol, okay, so much from so many countries and so on. And that's why, okay, these revolutionaries had a practical limitation of finance, limitation of weaponry. And that's why even most of the revolutionaries couldn't be successful. Unfortunate part of history, but most of these revolutionaries were arrested and got jailed or got martyred at the hands of Britishers. And so, when moderates had failed, extremists had failed, okay, even radicals could not be successful, Gandhi came to India in 1915. And this Swadeshi movement, guys, was so brutally suppressed by Curzon that after 1905 to 1950, 10 years in Indian politics, what we call India was politically dead. Only activity that was going on in India was just a little bit of the political activity was going on, was little bit political activity on the platform of Home Rule League movement. So Annie Besant and Tilak ka jo home rule league movement tha, that was only political activity was going on. And in modern Indian history, they also ask you question on a topic this, that home rule league was a light in a dark tunnel. So India was politically dead, the dark, and home rule league was only light that kept this political consciousness alive, some political activity going on. Otherwise, Curzon has very brutally suppressed Swadeshi, jailed all those revolutionaries. And as it wasn't a mass movement, okay, this fear of jail or these jails could not get overpopulated. And the way Gandhi wanted to overpopulate the jails and destroy this element of operation, jails as an instrument of operation, that couldn't happen. And in such a time, guys, when Gandhi came to India, 1915, Gandhi came to India. Now, guys, why Gandhi could create mass movement? So I told you, extremists would have created mass movement agar such mein had Hindu or Muslim been khatre mein. Then who was in danger? So let me tell you one small incident. When Gandhi came to India, and in 1960 when he went to Champaran, there was one woman wearing very dirty sari. And so Gandhi asked Kasturbaji to go and talk to the lady to ask why she doesn't wear clean sari, hygienic sari. And so Kasturbaji went, spoke with that lady and came and told Gandhi. And when Gandhi heard her reply, Gandhi had a shock of conscience. And that lady's reply was, I had only one sari to wear. If I wash this, what I will wear? And these were the people, guys, of Champaran who were so extremely exploited, oppressed. और अगर खतरे में कोई था तो वो चंपारण के लोग. Champaran ke people, later on I will tell you, where wasn't even peasants, wasn't agricultural laborers. They were simply slaves. Plantation working system was going on, like it used to happen in America. The plantation workers bringing slaves from Africa, they have turned the people of Champaran into literally slaves. And these were the oppressed people, okay, who were in danger. And Gandhi was first mass leader, first leader of Congress. From 1885 to 1915, 30 years में, there were a lot of Congress leaders, but Gandhi was first who went to Champaran for those people, who went to villages for these people. And after Champaran, Gandhi went to Ahmedabad for industrial workers. He went to Kheda for the peasants. He was the first person who went to those who were actually oppressed. Obviously, okay, when Gandhi was going to call NCM, these people were going to be on the street. And guys, every symbol that Gandhi used was extremely well thought. Charkha, salt. Now with charkha, guys, when British came to India, India was exporting almost 23% of the world's GDP in export form, especially cotton goods, cloth industry. When British came to India and they got industrialized in London, first thing they did was block India ka export. And by blocking India ka export, they created this supply gap in international market. They created deficit of Indian goods in international market. Now everyone wanted cotton clothes, but from India, no cotton clothes were allowed to go. And whatever deficit got created in international market, they flooded that deficit with the cotton goods they created in their industry, in their Manchester mills. And so this imperialism, economic imperialism that was going on, was on the grave of India. And so, okay, Gandhi wanted to, with Charkha, link this British ka economic imperialism with the operation of Indian people. And Charkha, guys, okay, was 5,000 years back. It was the invention of India. Indian people were first to know how to convert cotton into a cloth. Okay, and clothing industry was the base of India. What we call ki sone ka dhua nikalta tha India se, the golden smoke that was on this because of this cotton industry. And so whether you are a Muslim making shawl, Pashmina shawl in Kashmir, or Hindu making Banaras silk sari, or some Maharashtrian making Paithani sari, all were using charkha. Charkha was backbone of India ka cottage industry, household industry. And India was doing this mass production and supplying world ka 23% GDP for thousands of years that British destroyed. So when Gandhi used charkha as an economic symbol for India's regeneration of India, and you want to attack Britishers economically to attack their economic policies, okay, British couldn't do Hindu-Muslim divide with this charkha. Then later on salt, which are naturally available thing that British were taxing, exactly by choosing salt, Gandhi wanted to link this British ka imperialism with the common man, with his needs, and show how exploitative they are, that they are even taxing the naturally occurring product. And doesn't matter you're Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, tribal, or even Anglo-Indian, anyone living in India, rich or poor, used to eat salt that British used to tax. And so every symbol that Gandhi used was extremely well thought, when planned. Automatically, okay, he got connected with these people, with these symbols, and he could create the mass movement. And that's why this moderate, extremists and radicals, okay, all these trends couldn't work when and couldn't deliver the result. When Gandhi came to India, okay, when he went to Champaran, Ahmedabad, Kheda, he successfully fought and fought for those people's rights. Automatically, when he called for NCM, obviously it was going to be the mass movement and became the mass movement. And so much big mass movement that I told you, British had to call military and to take over railways and telegraph. There was something very unimaginable was happening even for the other people in Congress, that is moderate extremists, even for those leadership, this was very unbelievable. And so why Gandhi could create the mass movement, one of the ideological reasons. And there were many other reasons also that I will discuss with you as we go ahead. But one point I missed telling you, that why violence, why not non-violence. So guys, let me give you one case study of French Revolution. Now guys, French Revolution mein, king was governing in an oppressive, exploitative manner. There was a lot of unemployment, inflation, etc. People decided to do a rebellion and depose the king. And French Revolution occurred. They wanted to create freedom, equality, liberty, fraternity, new ideas. And a lot of people like John Locke and other thinkers were giving these ideas of fundamental rights, freedom, equality, liberty, that they wanted to create or ensure for the people by doing this French Revolution. And they did a revolution. They deposed the king and they created a new French state. And initially it was ruled by Girondins and Jacobins and then Girondins. And when now king was replaced, Jacobins came to power. You can replace the king. Can you create the jobs? You can win the election. Can you govern? That was the issue. And Jacobins, when came to power, they couldn't deliver the results. They couldn't remove the unemployment. They couldn't create jobs for the people, couldn't give them the food. People started to speak against them. And then what followed in French Revolution case history was Robespierre's reign of terror. And this Robespierre, who was Jacobin leader, murdered hell lot of people in the French Revolution. Eventually, people murdered Robespierre in his bed at night. Okay, 17, 18 people stabbed him to death. And after that, okay, what started was Girondins, who came to power, were a little bit moderate. Jacobins were radicals. Now, when Girondins came to the power, okay, again, now king gone, Jacobins came. Jacobins come, Girondins came. Can you deliver? Can you govern? Even Girondins couldn't. People were again, and now you have created a trend that you can do a revolution and depose the people. So obviously it was now Girondins' time to get deposed. And so to control the people, what Girondins did, they what we call ministry in India, in France they are called directories. And so they devolved their power to the directories, defense power, to the person from a young military general, that is Napoleon Bonaparte. And they gave him a power to curtail this revolution, control the people. And this Napoleon came, he curtailed the revolution, and eventually he curtailed the Girondins and took over the control of France and became the military dictator of the France. So what French people wanted to do before French Revolution was to depose the monarchy and create democratic republic. And what they ended up creating was depose the monarchy and replace it with Napoleon's military dictatorship. And what followed then, till 1815 ka Battle of Waterloo, lot of bloodbath. And so French Revolution from 1789 to 1815 ka Waterloo ka battle, till Napoleon's collapse, 25-30 years, there was so brutality, violence, war, blood got spilled in France, that in 1815, when Napoleon got defeated, okay, these French people went back and found the descendant of Louis XIV, who they have guillotined, and they found his descendant and he made them the new king. And they said, we don't want democracy, we don't want republic. Our king was keeping us hungry, but at least he was keeping us alive. And literally, entire French Revolution happened to depose monarchy and create democratic republic. After 30 years of French Revolution, okay, the violence that people saw, they blamed all this violence on the idea of democracy, idea of republic, idea of this fraternity, equality, freedom, etc. And by 1815, when India got when Napoleon collapsed, they chose to go back to the monarchy. So point is, guys, it wasn't the issue, okay, of the idea of democracy, republic wasn't per se wrong. Freedom, equality, fraternity wasn't wrong. Even today, these ideas are the backbone of our constitutional governance. The way with which French people wanted to introduce this idea, when to create that democratic republic, was horrible, and whatever bloodbath that ensured. And that's what Gandhi knew. We can do a revolution, but what after revolution? Again, same Raja Maharajas, monarchies, and so on. And why he was critical. And you can't introduce democracy, constitutional governance, on a people who are not ready for the democracy psychologically, who don't respect the laws, who don't have democratic value system inside. And that's what, you can't bring democracy to Afghanistan when people's mentality is still in medieval time period. They live by the old books and by the old laws. And same way in Syria, people wanted democracy by deposing Assad military dictatorship. They didn't realize when they created, okay, ISIS, this Islamic State in Syria. And that's why, okay, without teaching these democratic values, okay, independence will be of no use. Even Gandhi, Ambedkar, everyone agreed to that. And so we can create an independent India in which caste remain oppressed without this equality and equity. Then what's the point? And that's why these people were more focused on nation in the making to create that democratic nation, okay, constitutional systems that will operate in right manner. So now why these people could create mass movement, that point I wanted to discuss with you. Now the next point is, there was another debate that was going on in India that time was political independence and social reform. Which should be the priority, whether we should have social reform first or political independence. Okay, and so that point we will discuss now. So guys, next debate or next point that we need to understand regarding Gandhi was this debate that was going on in India. There were two thoughts, that first we need to have political independence. Social reform British should not engage into. Social reform is our problem, so we will have a social reform on our own after British leave India. British should not get into social reform, and social reform should not be the priority. Priority should be political independence. While there were other thinkers or other leaders who were saying social reform is most important, political independence is not. And obviously you know who those leaders were: Ambedkar, Periyar, even many other, Agarkar, Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule. They were of this opinion that if political independence without social reform is useless. And so this trend that was going on, that whether political independence first or social reform later, or social reform first or political independence later. But guys, Gandhi, when he came to India, okay, Gandhi never went into this issue, social reform first or political independence. For Gandhi, evil is evil and wrong is wrong. So whoever doing it, British or Indian higher caste or religious structures, then we will fight against all of those altogether. And so let me give you an example of this, or what I mean by that. So guys, when Gandhi went to Africa, and when he had a first class ticket, he got kicked out of the train. Gandhi was very angry with the racism that he experienced. And at that night, when he was sitting there at the railway station, okay, he was feeling extremely angry with whatever happened with him. When Gandhi was at that railway station, thinking about what to do with this revenge, insult, etc. And that time, then he got in this idea of satyagraha that came to his mind first, because he thought, if I kill this Britisher, that will only solve my revenge. What about the organized racism that is going on in Africa? And so what I should do, shouldn't do to deal with this issue. And that night, when he had idea of satyagraha, which we will discuss separately in our class, but at that moment, Gandhi also had another thought. And that thought was that when I was insulted, humiliated, kicked out of the train, considering that black skin means some low class person, but that's what my ancestors are doing in India thousands and thousands of years with untouchable people with oppressed caste and so on. And so what these people must have been feeling, or they must have been experiencing. And so that time Gandhi made it clear in his mind that when he will go back to India after dealing with this racism in Africa, when he will go back to India, it won't be the fight only against the racism, okay, sorry, against Britishers for political independence, but he will also fight or work towards to fight against the untouchability. And so when he came to India, he did not go into this argument or debate that whether political reform first or social reform first or political independence. He said wrong is wrong, evil is evil. Whether Indian do or Britisher do, we will fight against all those evils equally. And so even while he was in Africa, he started this process of social reform or social emancipation. So in Africa, he worked on Satyagraha technique when he was developing, along with development of Satyagraha technique and fighting against Britishers, racism in Africa, he was parallelly doing social reforms in his, or fighting against untouchability in his ashram. And so in Africa, he had made a rule that there won't be a casteism anymore in the ashram. Every person will be treated equally, irrespective of caste, class, sex, religion. And so generally that was the idea then, that those who learn should not earn and those who earn should not learn. So division between the intellectual labor and physical labor. Gandhi said there won't be such a difference. And so Gandhi made a rule in his ashram that everyone, okay, irrespective of his caste or class, will clean the toilets, and every day there will be number of one person to clean the toilet. Now you must have heard on WhatsApp, some WhatsApp graduates will send you message, okay, that about Gandhi, that Gandhi used to treat Kasturbaji very badly. So let me tell you one such a bad incident that Gandhi has mentioned in his book himself, that Gandhi made this rule that whatever public toilets that are there in ashram, everyone will use. One person will clean all those toilets one day. Okay, everyone's number will come one day. And so when this was idea that when Gandhi planned this, one day it was Kasturbaji's number, and some ladies of the ashram, they came to Kasturbaji, told her that it's your number to clean the toilet today. Now she was extremely shocked. I'm the higher caste Jain lady, even daughter-in-law, Diwan of Rajkot. I haven't even cleaned my bedroom, and I have to clean the public toilets that are used by all people, even untouchables or all caste people. And when she came to know Gandhi has made this rule, she called Gandhi and she asked, have you made this rule? Gandhi said yes. Then she said, I am not going to clean the toilet, I am not going to do untouchables work. But then Gandhi said, no, you will have to do, from here onward there is no untouchability, everyone is equal. So no such a division of labor. But Kasturbaji, because of this whatever idea she had, okay, about casteism and etc., wasn't ready to agree with this rule. And so a lot of arguments exchanged. And she asked, how you can ask, I'm your wife, how you can ask me to do this job? To which Gandhi replied, more the reason because you are my wife and it's my law, then you should follow the first. And eventually Kasturbaji in anger said that on my grave, a dead body, but I am not going to do this untouchables work. And when she said that, Gandhi was extremely angry. Gandhi held her by her hand, pulled her out of the hut or that ashram, okay, pushed her out of the ashram and said, go back to India if you don't want to live by my rules. Now this is what WhatsApp graduate will tell you, how Gandhiji used to treat Kasturbaji badly. Okay, but there are different ways to tell a history. You can tell the wrong history or you can tell the post-truth history. And so what is this post-truth and half-truth? So yes, Gandhi has pushed Kasturbaji out of the ashram, asked her to go back to India, but that wasn't, okay, the entire episode. Gandhi has written a lot in the next pages in his biography, autobiography. And so Gandhi keeps on writing that when I pushed her out and when my anger got calmed down, then I realized that I have forgotten one of the great lessons of Bhagavad Gita, that ego destroys the person, ahankar, manusya ka sarvanash karta hai. And Gandhi said that if I can't teach my wife by doing satyagraha, then how can I teach, okay, or I will be able to teach Britisher or fight against Britisher using satyagraha. And so then Gandhi went out, brought Kasturbaji back into ashram, apologized her and said that if you don't want to clean the toilets, it's okay. Okay, you don't have to. Whenever it's your number, I will clean the toilet twice. And then Gandhi took the bucket and all to go, and he decided to go to clean the toilet. And then doesn't matter whatever have been taught to Kasturbaji under casteism and Varna system, but more importantly, she has also been taught, okay, another rules, Pati Parameshwar, Sato Janmo Ka Rishta. And because of her, if Gandhi has to clean the toilets, okay, that was big value crisis, crisis of values for Kasturbaji. And then finally she went, apologized Gandhi, and thereon, okay, throughout his life till his moment of death, okay, she lived with Gandhi, with his principles, and never practiced untouchability. So point was, even before coming to India, Gandhi was working towards this social emancipation. And even when he came to India, when he planned the constitution of India, his first goal was political independence, and second goal was social emancipation, and third goal was constructive program, charkha, or developing hygiene standard, working for leprosy affected patients, or these kind of things. So Nayi Talim, new education system, healthcare, revival of village and cottage industry, decentralization of political structures, etc. Lot of things he had planned. That is third constructive program, third goal of Congress, Bhutan, land reform movements, etc. And so Gandhi has made it clear that political independence or social reform all will go hand in hand. And so when he came to Sabarmati, okay, and many people say that why Ambedkar was so much concerned with social reform and he wasn't interested in political independence, guys. So yes, Ambedkar was damn clear about it, and he was correct, because he knew even if we get independence today or tomorrow, okay, oppressed caste are not going to get any equality, liberty, or so on. They are going to get exploited the same way even in an independent India. And why he was saying so and why he was correct, so let me tell you a few incidents. It was 1915, 1916 when Gandhi came to India. 30 years later, they're going to be, okay, India's independence. And in 1916, when Gandhi was in India, when living in Sabarmati, he constructed Sabarmati Ashram. One Congress leader wrote a letter to Gandhi and asked that there is one couple, a Dalit couple, and they are extremely in a horrible state. They don't have food to eat. They are economically extremely backward, don't have a job or so on. So can I send them to ashram? If they live with you, they will get something to, some food to eat at least. And so then Gandhi said, it's so, okay, no problem. You can send them right away, and they can stay here, work here, and live in the ashram. Now when Gandhi discussed this, other people in the ashram, his relatives, cousins, brothers, whatever, all those Gujarati brothers who were living with Gandhi, they felt extremely offended with this fact that some untouchable couple will come here, will live with us, will eat with us, okay, do all this activity with us. And so, okay, they went to Gandhi and said, if this couple untouchables are going to live with India, with us in ashram, we are not going to live in ashram here. So Gandhi clearly told them that those who want to live, they can leave the ashram right away. But he will never compromise on his principles. Now when this news got spread, he got letter from many of his Gujarati industrialist, Gujarati brothers who were financing ashram, that if you want to do this kind of social reform, caste reform in your ashram, we will not be financing them. And Gandhi plain and clear terms told all of those, then don't finance, okay, but he clearly communicated that he will not compromise on his freedom struggle here. On his compromise, he will not compromise on his principle of this untouchability along with this freedom struggle movement. And so this was the condition of India in 1916. 30 years later, India was going to get independence. And let me tell you guys, when India got independence in 1947, okay, and when Ambedkar was appointed by Nehru as a chairman of the Constitutional Drafting Committee, okay, that time there were people in India who were doing protest that how can any Dalit will write India's constitution, and India's constitution is Manusmriti. And there were protests being carried out in India, and India had got independence, and this was the people's mentality about the caste system, Varnas, and about untouchability. So why this social reform was important, and why Ambedkar was so much insisting on social reform? The only difference between Gandhi and Ambedkar was, okay, Ambedkar was thinking Gandhi was incremental reformist. He wants slow reforms, while Ambedkar wanted very radical reforms, okay, large scale, and he wanted Gandhi to declare social reform as the first goal of Congress and political independence as the second. So that were just ideological little bit differences, but overall both were agreeing on the fact, okay, that there should be social emancipation and there shouldn't be any kind of this casteism, varna system, etc. And now let me tell you one more fact, very important point in history, that many of you must have read that Gandhi was killed by Nathuram Godse because Gandhi was giving half treasury to Britisher, etc. All these arguments are totally bullshit, or partition happened because of Gandhi and whatever reasons they are giving you. All very bullshit and stupid arguments. And I will wind up all those arguments in one fact. That fine, Gandhi was giving treasury, assuming he was giving treasury, it was his decision. This incident happened in 1947, partition and treasury ka. But 1947-48, when Gandhi got murdered, that was the sixth or seventh attempt to murder Gandhi. The very first attempt that happened to murder Gandhi happened in 1934 in Pune during Harijan Yatra. Bomb was thrown on Gandhi's vehicle. But Gandhi, by mistake, someone else's vehicle was that, and Gandhi survived that assassination. So why Gandhi was being murdered in 1934 by this Nathuram Godse's gang or other people in Pune? And that time, so even Jinnah had no dream of creating a Pakistan. Forget about division of treasury or so on. So let me tell you what was happening in India during that time period. So when 1931 ka CDM happened, I will explain you later that CDM was very huge scale mass movement, and NCM mein there was violence in Chauri Chaura, so Gandhi withdraw the movement. But in CDM, everyone knew if they do violence, Gandhi will withdraw the movement, and crores of our parents, ancestors protested peacefully without hitting back the British. Doesn't matter what atrocity Britishers did. And so when CDM got completed, Gandhi had a confidence that India is now ready for independence. These democratic values, what he wanted to teach, okay, to a great extent these people have learned. And even if India gets independence tomorrow, India will not collapse into a civil war or some collapse state. But people, even whatever political crisis happens, people will fight, okay, in a democratic manner. If these crores of people can fight British with the democracy, they will fight with Indian people with democracy. And so Gandhi thought his major task of teaching Satyagraha to respect democracy, whatever protest you do, do it through a constitutional means. Okay, that Gandhi said has been complete. First goal of political independence. India is ready for independence. Now independence comes today, tomorrow, 10 years later. Okay, doesn't matter. India will never collapse as an independent state, nation. And so Gandhi resigned from the Congress. He delegated task of independence to Nehru, Patel, Subhash Chandra Bose, all those Congress leaderships, and he focused on the second important task, that is social emancipation, fighting against the caste system, against this untouchability and so on. And for that he started Harijan Yatra and even Harijan newspaper that he wrote. And during that Harijan Yatra, 1934, when Gandhi was in India, in Pune, when he was attacked or assassinated. And let me tell you one incident during that rally when Gandhi was in Pune. Gandhi was giving a speech, and let me tell you one part of that speech. And then you will realize why Gandhi was being murdered in 1934, okay, and what was the reason. And you will realize that murdering Gandhi, okay, has nothing to do with creation of Pakistan or nothing to do with the treasury. Sole motive, okay, that what was that? Nathuram Godse's or his intellectual forefathers ka, that you will, or ideological forefathers ka motive, that you will realize now. Now you must have heard lot of time people making joke on charkha, that how we are going to get independence by throwing charkha at the British or so on, or how charkha can be the tool or weapon to fight against the British. All bullshit thoughts. So guys, yes, charkha was an instrument to fight the British, but only economic imperialism. But secondly, guys, okay, see, they will also make joke or will criticize Gandhi on one idea that if someone slaps you on one cheek, you can extend the other. Now by that, if we British slaps us on one cheek and we extend other, how India will get independence by this method? So guys, first of all, this statement that oppressor slaps on your one cheek, extend the other, wasn't Gandhi's. It was first time used by Jesus, and it comes from the Bible. Gandhi was only quoting that statement in that Pune ka speech in 1934 during Harijan Yatra. but the context was different. Gandhi wasn't using that against the Britishers. Okay, then what context Gandhi was using that speech? So what Gandhi was saying, that last 2-3,000 years we are oppressed these untouchable people so badly under caste system, under Varna system, this lower caste and even women's under sati kind of practices. We have oppressed them so much that if tomorrow this person of oppressed caste and community, if slaps me on one cheek and I extend another and he slaps me on another cheek, and even after that his anger doesn't go, his frustration doesn't end, it is totally acceptable. So much we have oppressed them. And if you want to pay for our sins, whatever we have done, if you want to wash out the sins, then Gandhi said, today or tomorrow or 10 years later, 20 years later, India will get independence. And when India will get independence, if we able to create in that independent India such a constitution where each and every person, irrespective of his class, caste, sex, religion, place of birth, whatever identity is, if every person gets equal constitutional, political, legal, democratic, economic rights, and if we create such a constitution where every person will have social mobility, that even person belonging to SC, ST, NT or any other tribe or group, oppressed group, have mobility to even become president of India, okay, and if we could create such structures, then that's the only way we will be able to pay for our sins. And in this context, Gandhi was talking, or what he was saying in Harijan Yatra. And so point is, why Gandhi was getting murdered, guys? Okay, because kind of constitution he was imagining. Now everyone was seeing, now has realized that today or tomorrow India will get independence. And I told you, in 1935, 70-80% India got independence. And all these people wanted was to leave India, okay, the way British took over from Indians. Same casteism, same Varna system, same higher caste privileges, same power structures, exploitative power structures. And major hindrance in this plan was Gandhi, Nehru, Ambedkar and all others. And in that, why so much of hatred towards Gandhi and Nehru? Okay, no leader pay. You will hear so much of criticism being done against Gandhi, Nehru as much against any other leader. Reason, guys, see, for this social emancipation to happen, caste reform to happen, okay, Ambedkar was fighting for the rights, obviously. Okay, he was the belonging to oppressed community. He had every right to fight, okay, legal, moral, etc. But largely, resources, power, property, land, okay, all these governors ke post, etc. were held by the higher caste people. And Gandhi, Nehru belonging to higher caste, when they used to say something, okay, people used to listen. When Gandhi said, gave education to the all people, okay, then these people opened their schools for this higher caste who were controlling the power for those. And Gandhi, Nehru was extremely charismatic. And so what they have to say was going to be tomorrow's constitution. And so if these people say tomorrow's constitution will be secular constitution, no casteism, no untouchability, that's how it is going to get created. And these religious orthodox conservative people who wanted this old Varna system casteism structure to kept intact has extreme hatred, and somehow they just wanted to finish Gandhi. And why Gandhi was getting murdered in 1934. And I told you, when these people used to say this social reform, whatever that process was happening, support of higher caste was very important. And when Gandhi, Nehru, Patel used to say, people from higher caste used to listen to them. Just to give you an example of that, Maharashtra mein, your great legendary social reformer, Shahu Maharaj, he supported Ambedkar also in education. Even Sayajirao Gaikwad, Baroda ke, he that time introduced free education to all people of all caste, class, religion, sex in his princely state. Even in Maharashtra, Shahu Maharaj, Shivaji Maharaj descendant, okay, he opened the schools for all people of all caste, class, religion. And even he made a law that if any parent doesn't send kid to the school, he had kept fine 1 rupees or whatever, 1 anna fine if you don't send kid to the schools. And even for those kids who are not from well-to-do families, okay, or who will come from outside, from remote villages to study in his city of Kolhapur or so on, he even was running on a hostel and free mess facilities for them. And let me tell you one incident of Shahu Maharaj's life, why higher caste support was necessary for this social emancipation to complete, this process to complete or happen successfully. So when Shahu Maharaj was ruling in Kolhapur, he had horses, and to maintain those horses, there was one person, okay, Kamble, belonging to untouchable community. And one day when Shahu Maharaj was in Delhi to meet a viceroy, okay, when he was taking care of horses, he realized horses were thirsty, and the guy who used to start the water ka tap, okay, wasn't available. And so as horses were thirsty, okay, he went and started the water tap to feed the water to the horses. But because you touched and polluted the water ka tap, some higher caste people came and they attacked this Kamble. They beaten him tremendously. And so after a few days, when Shahu Maharaj came back to his kingdom, his princely state, when he came to know about this incident, he called IPS officer of his princely state and asked all those higher caste people who attacked that Kamble, okay, round them up and bring them to the city ka chowk. And these all people were brought to the chowk of that city, and he went with his hunter, and in front of the crowd, okay, he flogged all those people, and he made it clear, in my princely state, there won't be any casteism, won't be an untouchability. Later on, this same Kamble guy, when he turned old, he couldn't do or maintain horses, he was turned old. So Shahu Maharaj said, I will finance you, you go and open some shop, do some business. And so he opened one tea shop in Kolhapur city, which is still there and operated in symbolic manner as the first shop, a business started by any person belonging to Dalit communities. And when this shop was opened, tea shop, no one would be coming to drink a tea, was coming to drink a tea from that shop, a shop ran by a lower caste person. And this was the India who was going to get independence after 10-20 years. Why social emancipation was necessary? You can get independence. Why nation building was necessary? And so, why these people were focusing on creating this society, national political structure, that you will realize. And once you realize this, then Gandhian ethics become very easy to understand. And so, when this guy opened the shop, no one was coming, higher caste people, to drink a tea. When Shahu Maharaj came to know about it, next day he decided to go to the shop. And he went in the morning when his all cabinet ministers, Diwan, and all these people came, Britisher as well as Indian. He took all them to that shop. And so when he came there, Shahu Maharaj came to drink a tea. He came up with a cup of tea. Shahu Maharaj said, don't give me cup of tea. Give me that bucket and cups. And he poured the tea and handed it over to all his Diwan and all ministers, all these higher caste ministers. Now what you will see? It is the tea given by untouchable or tea given by Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj, and automatically everyone kept quiet and drank the tea. And that's why, guys, why this support of the higher caste was necessary for this social emancipation to happen successfully, because they were controlling all the power structure, economic structures, legal, judicial structures. And so, and these Nehru, Gandhi, they were extremely charismatic people with extreme mass base, and what they are going to say, okay, it was going to create tomorrow's India. And it's the same way when India, in 1946 election happened in India, Ambedkar was fighting from Republic Party, he lost the election. But when India was got independence, Gandhi wrote letter then to Nehru, and in that letter there was only one line, that it is not Congress who has got independence, it is India who has got independence, and you should take all people together. And Nehru understood what he has to say, and Gandhi also said that now we have removed the Britishers, political independence target is complete, now we need to focus on social emancipation. And so, a person from the caste or community who is oppressed, if he writes the India's constitution, that will be the best constitution, okay, which will ensure social emancipation. And so when Gandhi expressed this will or idea to Nehru, Nehru contacted Ambedkar, called him to Delhi, appointed him as a chairman of a constitution's drafting committee. And that's what this social emancipation ka process, finally we gave ourselves this constitution where we protect each and everyone's rights, okay, equally, with equality and with equity, that handed over to us. And that's what Justice Chandrachud ka, on YouTube there is one video, one speech that he gave in Mumbai High Court. It's 1 hour ka speech around, but you should listen that Justice Chandrachud Mumbai High Court speech, etc. You will get that speech. And in that speech he talked that whenever they decide any constitutional matter, They always decide this constitutional matter from two perspectives. And he said that this constitution that got created in India wasn't the outcome of only one process of political independence. It was outcome of the another process also, process of social emancipation, process of removing these operations to create equality that was started from Rajaram Mohan Roy's time period, Mahatma Phule, Savitribai Phule, Vivekanand, Dayanand Saraswati se leke, Periyar, Ambedkar, all these Gandhi etc. who were fighting for this social emancipation. This constitution was culmination of these both the trends to remove British and ensure self-governance, and trained to remove this social operation and ensure social emancipation. India's constitution was byproduct of these two processes. And that's why, okay, when Gandhi was in India, he never separated, okay, political independence from social emancipation. Both were equally important tasks for him, and he was investing in both these processes simultaneously.